Doug, where have you been, man? I've been trying to get hold of you for ages. We've got another media sheriff video to do. Are you okay? You look a little pale. You could do with some colour in your cheeks. Colour? Now there's an idea. Yes, Doug. Yes. Okay, we are back with another Media Sheriff tutorial. This time we're going to be looking at colour and colour correction to make your films look really amazing. Make the colour just look a little bit more vibrant or atmospheric or however it is that you want to do it. Okay, so there's loads of different stuff that you can do with Lumetri Colour. It has some presets and things that you can use in your films, or you can do it all yourself. It depends how you want to do it and how you want it to look and how much satisfaction you want at the end of your project. So I'm going to go through a few things. Again, it is trial and error. Have a play around with things and you can get used to it. But as I said before, it can make them look really, really good. So I've got 3 different versions of the opening to the last Media Sheriff video with myself, Doug, and John Snur. And what we're going to do is we're going to mess around with some of the colour, and I'm going to show you different things that you can do. Okay, so I'm assuming that we start off on here with the editing tab. I've got my stuff on the timeline and I'm ready to have a bit of a mess around with things. Okay, so what to do? We're using this in particular, the colour tab. So we click on there and then we're straight into the Lumetri Colour section. Look at that. And we're going to do a load of different stuff. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to do this, which is colour wheels and match. This can be a little bit fiddly, but we're just going to have a little bit of a play around with it, and I'm just going to show you how to use it. Okay, so at the minute we've got this section highlighted, this video, and what I'm going to do is I am going to make the shadows a little bit colder. Now to do that, you just click on the cross in the center and you just drag it, and if you want it colder, then you drag it into the blue area, and as you can see here, it's going a lot colder. Let me take the tick off on the colour wheels and just show you the difference. There we go, and then back on, and there you can see it. I'm also going to make the highlights a little bit more warm. Okay, there we go. Alright, so we can have a mess around with that. You can make them less cold, you make them warmer, but just have a play around and see what you get to when you get to something that you like. You can also mix and match things as well. So I'm going to go into the creative tab now here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to boost the vibrance a little bit, and this will make, again, the colour just become a little bit more vibrant. So again, if we take the creative off, that's what it looks like. If we put the creative bit back on, there you go. We've made it look a lot more vibrant again. I still don't like that massive shadow where I'm in the middle. The lighting was not good on that day. Right, okay, so what else we can do with this? You can have a basic play around, we can go into faded film and you can drag that and it fades the film out loads. But have a mess around, you can make it black and white with the saturation or whatever. But at the minute, this is how I'm going to do it. This is how I want it. I'm going to put that back up to 100. There we go. And then I'm going to go into basic correction and just have a play around with some of these as well. Okay, so we can boost the contrast. We can move the black blacks over to this side here, and as you can see, it's just making it a lot more filmic, giving it that filmic look, and it just makes it look a lot more professional. Okay, for the second one then, what we're going to do on this one, we're back to the dull, drab, old beginning. On this second one, I'm going to work with RGB curves. Okay, so we go into the curves area of Lumetri Colour, and what you want to do is you want to put a few points in. They act a bit like keyframes, or they act like you're using the pen tool. So you use the pen tool, click around here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make an S with it. Okay, so if you watch the screen, you'll be able to see what this does to the colour. So we're just going to make a little bit of an S there. Okay, again, trial and error. You can do it however you want. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the brightness down a bit here as well. And then I'm going to move this one at the bottom up a little bit. Okay, so about there. It depends where you want it. Obviously, the higher you go, the more faded it becomes. And then the clearer it goes this way. Likewise, if you do it this way, so it's just basically messing around with the RGB curves on there. We'll have a notice on the difference again if I take that off and then put it back on again. It does look a bit crisper, but you can play with the levels and you can put them wherever you like. You can move them a bit further up, you can move that down, you can move them further up, or you can move it back down depending on what kind of look that you want. But that's what you can do with that one. So that is the RGB curves, and you can use that one as a method of doing it. The other one we're going to do is we're going to look at some basic correction. So in the basic correction tab here, we've got temperature and tint. We've got all of this other stuff that you can mess around with. We're just going to mess around with the saturation a little bit. So I'm going to turn this one black and white. And then I'm going to just mess around with the contrast. So I'm going to bump the contrast up a little bit. Makes it clearer. I'm going to take the blacks out. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and mess around with the shadows as well. So I'm going to put the shadows down a bit. Look at what happens if you put the shadows up, and what happens if you put the shadows down. Okay, so lots of different effects that you can have on your videos. You can make them look however you like. You can mess around with the temperature and the tint. Now I know some of you are wanting to do things that have a lot more colour in them and changing the tint on the colour. So I'll go back to this one. No, I'll go back to the colour wheel one, and we'll open the colour wheel back up. Now obviously, as I said, you can mess around with all of this depending on where you put it. It can make it look pinker. You can make it really pink. Let's make it really pink there, depending on what you want to portray. Now you can make it blue and look a lot colder. You can make it look warmer, depending on what you're trying to portray. It's just a case of messing around, as I said, playing around with it and seeing what you can actually achieve with it. Okay, final one. I'm going to take this one off for a minute. So I'm going to remove Lumetri Colour for a second. That's going to be deleted off that. I'm going to go back onto this normal one. And the last one we have got is in the creative. And we've got a look here. Now the look box, they've got loads of presets in there, so you can decide what you want to do, and it has an effect on the video. So for example, let's try, I'm going to scroll down here to Gold Western. This is one of the ones. There you go. Gives it a bit of a yellowy tint. Again, you can mess around with the saturation, so you can make it more or less colourful, look more bright, and you can mess around with the vibrance again and things. And as you can see, you're getting crisper. you're getting a really nice looking video picture on there. There is absolutely tons on here. There's noir, it's all black and white. You can do a clean, straight NDR. There is loads. So again, have a play around with the creative looks and see which ones you like the look of, and put them into your films and mess around. Ready to do that. Now, the other secret is adjustment layers, which I'll be doing a video on soon. So if you've got more than one video and you want to put the same effect on each one, you can use an adjustment layer. I will go through that in a separate video. For now though, that is Lumetri Colour on Premiere. Get it into your videos, get them looking really nice, and I'll see you next time.